Haven't seen y'all in a minute, but we are back. Gonna be honest. Good morning, Mario. Good morning, Switch fans. I was in a bit of a funk the last few days, just around Nintendo in general. And there were two main reasons for it, but let me let you know there's also going to be some new Metroid Prime 4 news, which is pretty darn fun, as well as renders of the Switch 2 that have popped up from another source, and this time giving us even more detail. But first, look, the Switch 2 is so overdue. I was going back through the years and I was like, man, I think it was 2021 where we were heavily, or was it 2020? 2021, I think we were heavily anticipating the Switch Pro. And now here we are in 2024 and we just don't know nothing. Like, it bums me out. It bums me out because we know Nintendo's just like in holding mode until this happens. They're in holding mode on the directs, on the big games. It's just like we gotta coast because Nintendo has too much money. It's just frustrating. I find it frustrating. I find it annoying. Like, I want to cover the big games. I want to cover the big new releases. And I know we're going to be getting freaking remasters and remakes and things of that sort until Nintendo's actually ready to push the Switch 2 button. The other thing is, people were commenting on the Horizon video that, when did this become a PlayStation channel? Which I think is funny. And Bowser, my cat, has a bone to pick with it as well. Because, dude, Horizon Lego Adventures is on Nintendo Switch. I have no idea how that makes it a PlayStation channel, but, you know, the world is a crazy place and people say the darndest things. I can't let that get to me. I was like, I've literally been making Nintendo Switch content as long as or longer than any of the major Nintendo Switch channels out there. And I continue to do so, and people are going to say it's a PlayStation channel because I cover freaking Lego Horizon Adventures on Nintendo Switch. I played it on Switch. I played that thing with my Pro Controller plugged in. Played it on Switch. Anyways, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well out there. It's Zach from SwitchForce. SwitchForce, not Sony Force. Metroid Prime 4's website just updated the English website. Ooh, Bowser is gnawing on my arm. Buddy. It's like cathartic for him. He's stressed out about the Switch 2 too. But they updated the website with brand new Metroid Prime 4 information, putting up all the stuff we've seen thus far. So I guess it's not brand new info, it's brand new to the website. But to me, they put this up here because it must be leading towards something else, right? You don't just update the website randomly on November 19th for no reason. You must be updating it for some string of announcements. Now, people have hypothesized that maybe, we're going to get a Game Awards trailer for Metroid Prime. Nintendo and Keighley have done things in the past. Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC was there. But I will say that Nintendo's presence at that show is few and far between. I would not expect anything from Nintendo reveal-wise at the Game Awards, which are coming up in a couple weeks here. I would much more guess that it would just be on Nintendo's own social channels. I think Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is going to be a first half 2025 title. And especially if Nintendo is not going to have a major direct anytime soon, especially if they're not going to be, pushing any major Switch 2 reveal, Metroid Prime 4 is going to have to get more details in the near future. They're going to have to clarify what this game is, why you should buy it, and start hyping the marketing cycle for a title that could very easily release in like April or May of 2025. So when will we be seeing this? I don't know. Nintendo operates in a crazy mode lately, and that's just become their norm, and I'm not going to take a guess on when a trailer would drop. The Game Awards is obviously an interesting time to consider, but maybe there is just like a social blast that's going to be happening in early December to coincide with Nintendo doesn't have a game. Like, they really don't have much to advertise the rest of the year. They're not going to be advertising Switch 2, so there is an opening for Nintendo to discuss more about Metroid Prime, and that would be pretty sweet. I think we could use some information on like a big game, a big anticipated game, one that saw its logo revealed at the first Switch release year E3. And 8 years later, we still know very little about it besides a pretty slick looking gameplay trailer. And Silex is there ready to burn all of our toast. So Metroid Prime, keep your eyes peeled. I'll let you know if anything more develops. Let's take a peek at these new Switch 2 renders. So these are supposedly real renders of the Switch 2. We've discussed something like this a couple months ago, where we had images kind of showcasing the size of the screen, a little bit of a different form factor, and more looks at the new stand that is kind of like this U-shaped kickstand that people are very excited about. And then people went ahead and 3D printed the Switch based on the renders, and they were like, okay, this is how we can compare the sizes of what the current Switch OLED is like versus this new, Switch 2. And now we have even more renders and more detail. Honestly, the biggest thing about this is people apparently look at this and say Circle Pad Pro, but I'm telling you, the Switch 2 is going to have joysticks. They're not going backwards to the Circle Pad Pro. They'll never do that again. That would be shooting themselves in the foot, and it would make the games very difficult to control, and it would actually decrease the ergonomics and the functionality of the Switch instead of increase, which is what the Switch 2 is all about. The Switch 2 is all about iterating on the Switch and making it better. Circle pad stuff makes it worse, so no matter what this render looks like, those are going to be sticks. Other than that, it's just a big Switch. One thing people have pointed out is that from sort of the side view, it does look like this is a chunky boy. Like this is going to be a thicker Switch. The Switch, all things considered, is pretty thin. Like if I compare the Switch to my Steam Deck, the Switch is very thin, but given the increase in power and the increase in hardware sophistication, it makes sense that the Switch 2 will be a thicker system. And in some ways, I think that'll be better. I think that obviously we don't want the Switch to be heavy, but I would like a little bit more substantiality with the Switch. I think one of the things that makes the Joy-Con kind of hard is that they're small. I think a bigger Switch, like obviously a screen being bigger is nicer, but I think just in terms of ergonomics as a whole, the Joy-Con being a bit thicker and chunkier, the system being a bit thicker and chunkier, I think it's going to make it a better experience. Because for me, I love playing my Steam Deck handheld. I don't like playing my Switch handheld. I'll play my Switch with my fixture, like Handheld Pro as I call it. I'll play my Switch in like, one of those Satisfy grips or the cracked docks. I don't like playing the Switch just straight handheld. It's uncomfortable after a long period of time. I don't even have that big of hands, and it's like cramped. The Joy-Con, not my favorite way to control. They got to make the handheld experience better, or at least comparable to what I get with the Steam Deck, where I'm like, okay, this is totally fine to play in the doctor's office, to play on the plane, to play in bed. Like, yeah, it's a little heavy. Yeah, you don't want to drop it on your face, but at least it's comfortable. At least I can play this. The triggers feel nice. The sticks feel nice, and the ergonomics of where my hands go also feels nice. So this bigger, chunkier Switch, I think, is very beneficial. Does this mean that factories are leaking, that production is started fully, that the announcement is soon? I don't know, and neither do you. And neither does nobody else. Nobody knows. The Switch 2 has been like the most confounding, confusing, frustrating thing in video games in 2024 for Nintendo fans. Obviously, there's been a lot of worse things like layoffs and studio closures and game failures. But for Nintendo fans, it's like, okay, we got some pretty cool releases. We got, some nifty special editions. We got some nice remasters and remakes. Most of the games that came out did pretty darn well and weren't like disappointing or anything. The frustrating thing is like, where the heck is the Switch 2? And nobody knows. We got less directs than maybe ever before in a year. I mean, since they started like really ramping up and doing the 3 major directs every year, the February, June, September. So it's been a lacking of directs. It's been a lacking of major titles, and it's been absolutely a lacking of Switch 2 information, because the only things we know are that it's backwards compatible. Okay, I'll take that. We know that we don't know the Joy-Con are magnetic, we think. So we know that it's backwards compatible, and we know that Nintendo accounts and Switch Online are going to carry over. That's it. That's it, and that's all, baby. And anything else is just educated guesses, speculation, or leaks. Right now, Nintendo wants us to know next to nothing. And hopefully that makes the wait really worth it. Hopefully that makes the final reveal very exciting. All the annoyance I've felt of like, where is the Switch 2 info? Can we move along? Nintendo, this generation is just going on, and I know we're not getting big games until the Switch 2 drops. Like, hopefully that makes their big reveal crazy exciting, because they're going to have to drop all the info, all the details, all the games at once. And we're just going to be flooded with a tsunami of Nintendo Delicioso. And that sounds good. Bowser is back to gnawing in my hand. I'm going to go, because are you hungry? Do you need to play? I swear Bowser is in his like adult Bowser phase. Like, he was Bowser Jr. all cute and sweet and wore a little bib. Now he's just like, I'm going to bite your hand while using my big rabbit feet to kick you. And he's a vicious hunter. He's a adorable vicious hunter. Anyways, I love all y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Thanks for being patient while I put up this video. The Game Awards got their announcements. I'm not a Sony channel though, so we can't talk about Game of the Year, because there's no Nintendo game up for Game of the Year again, as per usual. I mean, I guess outside of the Zelda stuff, right? They don't family game is Nintendo's category. So we'll talk about the family game category next time, probably. Until then, though, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.